Hey everyone, welcome back here to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter. It is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. And in this forecast, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, short-term and long-range forecasts, and the tropics are all tied into this. So something that is happening like a typhoon in the West Pacific will impact our weather here locally in the United States and Canada. We're going to talk about that and just your full tropical weather update in general. Folks, we struggled with the likes on the last video. Can we please get a bunch of likes here on the video? Make sure to like the video if you do enjoy it. And if you are here and watching it, share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the best way to get more of my videos. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell to all so you get all my videos, all my live streams here that we do on the channel. Let's look at our temperatures. It is a cool day across the Great Lakes, but especially the Northeast, right? We're into the 40s and 50s this afternoon. More of a spring-like day across the central southern plains. We're more into the 70s, 80s. You have to go pretty far south to actually get into the 90s, south of Dallas there towards, say, San Antonio, Austin, even into the Houston Metroplex. As we go into the day on tomorrow, on Friday, October 10th, a little bit of some moderating temperatures, but still cool in the Northeast, still pretty cool up here towards the Arrowhead of Minnesota. And it's going to be a nice day across much of the United States with our temperatures at or slightly below normal. And then heading into the weekend as we go into Saturday, October 11th and Sunday, October 12th, we're going to get a southerly wind component here into the central U.S., which will climb our temperatures back into the low and middle 80s, even some 90s sprinkled in here into Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas as we go into Sunday, October 12th. During the day, it's cool. At night, it will be cool as well. In fact, we do have freeze warnings up across the Northeast. This is where we're going to expect a hard freeze over the next couple of nights across coastal Maine, back through Vermont, New Hampshire, New York State, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all the way back into northern Jersey, Pennsylvania, all the way down the Appalachians into West Virginia, Maryland, and Virginia, even some freeze warnings there in northeastern Ohio. So a lot of different states impacted by this as well. That's something we're going to keep a very close eye on, because our low temperatures starting off Friday morning going to be into the upper 20s. That's a hard freeze. And then as we go into Saturday morning, still potentially a hard freeze, but I think more of a frost component here to the Northeast with some upper 20s, but mostly low 30s. Also watching for patchy frost up here in Minnesota, where we're in the mid 30s for Saturday morning. And then we're going to start to see our temperatures moderate going into Sunday morning, and even some record warm lows in the central plains like Nebraska and Kansas in the mid 60s once we turn into Sunday morning. Now, thunderstorm threats over the next few days, just general garden variety storms. Got a cold front moving across the Midwest. We have some tropical moisture from the East Pacific moving up into the desert Southwest. Same deal down here to the Southeast coast for today. Then as we go into the day tomorrow, we're going to continue to see the same deal. And then as we go into Saturday, mainly the western United States, the Rockies, more in line with the thunderstorm chances, but severe weather for today, tomorrow on Friday, and Saturday for the weekend is unlikely across all of the United States, which is some good news. Like we always do, let's look at the regional view here. The eastern U.S. first, we'll look at the central U.S. second, and then the western U.S. third. Plenty of sunshine to go around here on this Thursday afternoon for the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. Higher level clouds potentially down there into the Carolinas, but rainfall is actually coming out of those clouds into southern portions of Georgia, into Florida there. So Jacksonville, Savannah, down there toward Daytona Beach. A little bit of a rainy Thursday night down there. And then as we go into the day on Friday, we're going to see some higher and even mid-level clouds start to creep in from the west, moving across the Great Lakes and into the interior sections of the Northeast. We'll call it a partly cloudy sky as we go into Friday afternoon. Rain showers do arrive, though, in Myrtle Beach and also Charleston in the low country of South Carolina as we go in towards Friday evening. Some of that will be moving up into the Wilmington area on the Outer Banks, so be ready for that in the eastern Carolinas. More of a rainy Friday night is in store. Central United States here, we have a mix of sun and clouds across the northern United States. A weak cold front could bring a few light showers or a rumble of thunder across portions of Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, Iowa, northern Missouri as we go through overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. So don't be surprised if you head out to work or school. Bring an umbrella just in case, but this should be pretty short-lived. And then as we go through the day, we're going to see sunshine creep back into the picture there into the Midwest. Increase in cloud cover from the front range of the Rockies into the central and northern plains. This is blow-off cloud cover from our rainfall that we're going to be seeing in the Four Corners region, complements here of the tropics in the East Pacific. And let's talk about that. Out west, we're going to be seeing plenty of sunshine here today, unless you're down here into the desert Southwest, actually seeing some moisture in the form of rainfall, and that will continue into the overnight hours. And then going in the day on Friday, we're just going to have a fire hose of moisture overspreading Utah and much of Arizona. So Flagstaff, Tucson, down there into Phoenix, we're going to be seeing quite a bit of rainfall going through the day on Friday. And so much so, we could actually be seeing some flooding concerns for portions there of Arizona, where we could be seeing upwards to 6-7 inches worth of rainfall. And that is something we're going to keep a very close eye on. Also, some heavier rains along the immediate east coast of the United States. Driest areas from Texas up here to the Ohio River, going to be pretty dry going through 7 a.m. on Monday, October 13th. Snowfall here, going to be watching our first potential blizzard of the season up here into the southern Canadian prairies as we go into the weekend. We're going to watch a storm system gather as a trough comes in across the Pacific Northwest. This could be tapping into some colder air from the north there, as we have that snowpack like we mentioned in previous videos up into Alaska, the Yukon, British Columbia, Northwest Territories. That's northwestern Canada. Colder air coming down from the northwest, warmer, more moist air from the south, and that's going to meet up and potentially give us a blizzard there in south central Saskatchewan and into central Manitoba, going from Monday the 12th into Sunday the 12th into Monday the 13th, going into the latter half of the weekend and into early next week. And there could be some pretty good wind with this system. That's why blizzard conditions may be possible from Saskatchewan up there into central Manitoba. Wind gusts could be over 50 miles per hour, and snowfall could be piling up. Some areas could see anywhere from around 4 to 7 inches. So blizzard conditions are not out of the realm of possibility in the United States here as far as the snowfall is concerned. It looks like more of a higher elevation snow for Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, and the Cascades there in Washington State and Oregon through early next week. Talking about next week now in the long range, Monday, October 13th through Friday, October 17th, weaker trough moving off the East Coast, ridge being established down there into coastal Texas, and that will give us some warmer air, lots of sunshine next week in the central U.S., and a big-time trough coming in across the West Coast will be something to monitor. Again, above normal temperatures, and we're not going to see the heat like we just saw, right? We're not going to see 95 in Chicago, nothing like that, but we are going to be seeing warmer than normal air. Remember, our high temperature averages are getting lower as we're getting into the middle of October. So any little bit above normal we could be seeing, and then potentially some colder air across the West Coast as a real significant trough moves in, and that could start to give us some moisture here, but it looks drier in the eastern U.S. in general. So that's what we're looking at next week. Dry east and wetter the further west you go across the United States. Now let's look here at some of the outputs here. The deterministic European model is pretty wet. It shows pretty wet conditions across the Sacramento Valley up here into the Rockies, and then into the northern plains. We'll be keeping an eye on that. The GFS model is very dry across the northern plains, but it is still wet for the Sacramento Valley. So there's a little bit of some disagreements here on how much rainfall we could or could not see in the northern plains heading into next week, and we'll keep you updated on that as well. Let's look here at the long range and actually take you over to the West Pacific. Like we mentioned, the tropics in the West Pacific has major implications on what is happening locally here across North America, because we have Typhoon Halong that is just east of Tokyo, and it's going to recurve back here into the North Pacific toward the Aleutian Islands. And as it does so, it is going to give us a fairly significant storm system and or cold front across the central eastern U.S. as we get closer to the Halloween time frame, and both the extended European and extended GFS models are showing that as we get closer to there towards Halloween. So what that will do is give us an active weather pattern across the lower 48 and both the European and the GFS ensemble guidance. It will be a little spotty at times. We'll just have to continue to look at this as we get closer, but looking here at a stronger cold front, I think this will bring our temperatures back down to near average or even below average, getting towards that last week in October. And it is real bullish here on the GFS extended ensemble guidance, with the Gulf Coast up the East Coast looking pretty cool as we get towards Halloween. So we'll keep it close eyes on that. Let's turn over to the tropics here real quick and talk about Tropical Storm Jerry. Yes, that is approaching here the Leeward Islands, and there is a system that is likely to become a hurricane, right? We have tropical storm watches, even a couple of those islands there in the northern Leeward Islands having tropical storm warnings, and this is likely to become a Category 1 hurricane as it moves north of the Leeward Islands and really due north towards Bermuda, and then it takes that hard right turn just to the east of the Bermuda Island. This is a fish storm, folks, but right now, maximum sustained winds, 65 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 18 miles per hour. That's what we're looking at here with Jerry, and you can see that both the European ensemble guidance and the GFS ensemble is very much in tune with that curving out to sea as a fish storm. Now, the GFS still pretty bullish on that trough near the east coast of the U.S. That's going to bring us mainly a rain system up the east coast. That's all the rainfall we see from South Carolina and Georgia all the way to Maine. We could be seeing a couple of inches of rainfall from that heading into next week. Now, let's look at the East Pacific. We have Tropical Depression 17E just to the south and west of the coast of Mexico. We also have Priscilla that is approaching the Baja of California. So let's look here at that. Octave, the remnants of that is pretty much done, as that's been just spinning in the East Pacific for a while. Tropical Storm Priscilla approaching the Baja of California, and Tropical Depression 17E is again starting to develop. That's our next system. There's Priscilla. It is weakening as it is encountering some cooler water and eventually land with the Baja of California at 45 mile per hour system, is going to approach the Baja there by Saturday. And then Tropical Depression 17E likely becoming a mid-grade tropical storm. There are tropical storm watches up along the coast there of western Mexico, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. That is also going to be recurving moisture up into the desert southwest. And we're going to show you how that works here. A lot of this moisture from the East Pacific here is going to be moving somewhere. And it's going to be moving north into the desert southwest and up there into the northern United States here. And that's going to be a conveyor belt of moisture for several days there, really beginning this weekend and heading through much of next week and even into next weekend. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. A lot of rainfall in combination to that strong trough we showed you coming in across the west coast, and that tropical influence here from the south are going to meet up and produce a lot of rainfall across the Rockies and the western United States in general, heading in towards the middle of October. In fact, so much so that we're looking at excessive rainfall. The Weather Prediction Center has a slight risk for flash flooding for Southern California. Yes, this includes areas near San Diego, up into Vegas, up there in towards Tucson and Flagstaff, even extending up into southern portions of Utah going through today. A moderate risk where significant flash flooding will be possible near Phoenix and up there toward Flagstaff as we go into tomorrow on Friday, and then continuing with a slight risk for flash flooding as we go through several days thereafter for especially Arizona and New Mexico. And we want to add also the East Coast, watching out for flooding risks near the mid-Atlantic coast, Atlantic City, Trenton, and even into the Baltimore area. Keeping an eye on that for the latter half of the weekend, Sunday into Monday. Could be some flooding prospects there with that trough across the East Coast. Hey, if you did enjoy the weather forecast, I strongly encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. As always, turn on the post notification bell to all so you get all my live streams, videos here that we do post on the channel. Like the video, also give it a thumbs up. We didn't have enough likes yesterday. I'd like to see that up to 1,000 likes today. Also share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. If you enjoy these weather forecasts, I do appreciate you. Thank you all for the support, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe rest of your Thursday out there.